Hey everybody, the Super Vader 400 here, the brown skinned human, and of course Douglas Blair Roberts coming back at you with another video. And as you can see by the title above, this is the intro video to various Dragon Ball Z rants. Like I've said in previous videos, there will be one intro video for a bunch of audio narration reviews, because in previous videos I got sick of recording an intro for every audio audio narration, and I want to save more disk space on my hard drive. So this is what we're going to be doing from now on. So this tackles every Dragon Ball Z rant: the Piccolo saga, Saiyan saga, Namek and Frieza sagas, Android and Cell sagas, Babidi and Majin Buu base sagas, the entire Dragon Ball Super franchise, Fakatsu no F, the entire Dragon Ball Z franchise, the entire Dragon Ball franchise, and even though I like these versions of Dragon Ball, love these versions of Dragon Ball, um, Super Brawly, and of course maybe Dragon Ball Evolution. Because while I like those films, I do have a problem. I do have a couple of problems with those films. So this is the intro video to all Dragon Ball based rants. So with that being said, let's get started right now. Gonna show you what I'm made of. This is part 2 of my rant on Dragon Ball Evolution. Like I said in part 1, I decided to also do rants of movies and franchises that I actually enjoy, since I've done positive reviews of movies, cartoons, and franchises I do not like. So, with that being said, this is everything I didn't like about Dragon Ball Evolution. Because while I'm still a huge Dragon Ball Evolution fan, this film, when it released, dropped the ball. They, of course, didn't pass the test, and in this video I'm gonna talk about the several problems I had with this film. The number one problem I didn't have a problem with this, but a couple of people in real life that I'm still friends with who hated this movie. They had a problem with this, and that was this movie was vastly different from its source material. Now, like I said, this never really bothered me, and to this day it still doesn't, as long as what I'm watching is equal to or better. If it was another franchise like Spider-Man, Marvel, DC, Bleach, Naruto, then you better be as close as possible. Or if you can't follow it, you better make something bigger and better, or something equal to, that's good alongside of what's his name, and I thought this movie, like I said, was better than the original Dragon Ball series created by Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z series created by Akira Toriyama. Only the Broly movies and GT were the only Dragon Ball related materials that were actually ever truly that are actually ever and to this day still are good. But let's get back to this. So yes, number one, not following the story, but that didn't bother me, but that bothered a lot of people. That bothered a lot of people who were huge fans of this cartoon and not following the story. That just asks for a lot of hate and pretty much set yourself up for failure. Set yourself up for failure. Now, you don't have to follow the story, especially with this franchise. But here's number two, and this is the biggest problem with this movie, and I see this with a lot of adaptations, especially the 90s Mortal Kombat films. This film wanted to attract new viewers to Dragon Ball, but if you watch this, if you're a new viewer who's never heard or cared for Dragon Ball and watching this movie for the first time, you're unless you enjoy movies like this, you will probably not. The person probably would not like the movie because he or she probably would not understand what's going on. You did not make the storyline accessible to new viewers. And if you continue watching, especially when you get to the end, you made the storyline accessible to people who are familiar with the franchise, who are gonna hate this, and did hate this for being different than their quote unquote source material. Source material. So what? Laziness. If you want new viewers, you have to if you wanted to get new viewers interested, you have to make the storyline accessible to new viewers, and you didn't do this. You didn't do this. So that's the second and probably the biggest problem with this film. Problem number three is its DVD. Great film, but one of the worst DVDs of all time. One of the worst DVDs of all time. Um, it has several cool deleted scenes. My favorite being the extended Fulham fight scene and the extended key blast training scene. Tr- Training, yeah. Those are some of my all-time favorite scenes. You should have made a unrated DVD version with all of those scenes, with the exception of the knife scene at the end. There's a scene where Yamcha knifes um Mai in the back instead of shooting her in the back. I like the shot better with the gun. That's much cooler. That's much cooler. Even though the knife is probably more closer to Yamcha's character, but I much prefer the gun. But they should have had an unrated version with all of those scenes in the movie because all of those scenes not only were 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 awesome, but they help explain certain things in the film. Whereas once again, if you're a new person coming into Dragon Ball, if you're a new person who's never heard of Dragon Ball and comes to this movie, you be like, huh? Most of this doesn't make a lick of sense, and some of those deleted scenes actually made sense and expanded on scenes that think certain things were not elaborated on or explained. So I'm mad that they never made an unrated version with all those deleted scenes in. They pretty much cut all those deleted scenes from the film, and they never made an unrated version. They just put Dragon Ball Evolution Z Edition, and you hope to sell more copies. No, and they also were missing a cool commentary from James Wong, the director, on why he made several changes that he did. Now, I know why he made several changes, and in my international movie database proves my point. If you look in the trivia and goose section of that website, they explain everything that I was explaining to the Dragon Ball protesters and haters of this film back in 2009-10 during the Dragon Ball Evolution protest supporter war. Now, but I like to be right, and I want it out of his mouth. His mouth. explaining why you made all of the changes that you did, that you that you that you did. So yeah, these were the so this was those were the first three problems. Number four, number four, cutting several important scenes from the movie entirely. And one scene is such is this scene is not really important, especially since the cartoon and anime does this a lot. But there's a scene where Goku at the end when Goku summons the Dragon Balls, he says a specific prayer. He says a specific prayer. Now that scene was awesome, but but throughout the temple scene where he's training, we never see him learning that prayer. So did he learn? Where did he learn that prayer in the film? They must have cut that completely from the film because it's nowhere. They must have cut that completely from the film the where he learns the prayer. Um, um, it's a minor scene, but it's just important. It's just important to me. I like to see the journey, the struggle, the training. Um, Another thing was what else? What? So oh yes, Piccolo and Goku's fight. Now, while I love their fight in the film, it was realistic and made much more sense in comparison to the various battles, Dragon Ball battles. Like I said, I've said numerous times, I prefer Goku and Piccolo live action than I prefer their fights in the show, which I thought their fights in the show were entertaining but long, drawn out, dumb, and just stupid. Just incredibly stupid, unrealistic, and fake. Um, um, the fight, Justin Chatwin and James Monsters, um, they practiced more than a couple of punches, key blasts, and a Kamehameha wave beam struggle at the end. And even James Monsters criticized the producers for cutting his fight with Goku, um, cutting it in half and cutting it down to pretty much an hour and several minutes. I'm not to a minute and several seconds. My bad, not my bad. So that was the that was the fifth problem. What else? What else about this film? So yeah, these are pretty much my several problems with Dragon Ball Evolution. Still like the movie, still one of the best of all times, one of the best of all times. But it was for these reasons why when you came out, you didn't pass the test, you didn't pass the test, and you were total failure. And so yeah. What else? What else about this movie? So, oh yes, one final thing. Why the character and story development here, in my opinion, is much better than in the series. Next is the characters. Is the characters. Especially Bulma is the biggest example of this in the film. Bulma and Chi Chi. Um, you don't learn much about them other than what you see. I mean, what their backstory is. We never even see we with Chi Chi. We never even see or reference the Ox King or whoever her father is. And same with Bulma. It's an unknown. It's an unknown. It's an unknown famous scientist scientist where back in the series you did get to see more you did get to see more of their lives. So that was the final problem I had with the series. But other than that, everything was great. Everything was great, and to this day, it's still one of the best. But these were the various problems I had with the movies, and as you can tell, Most of my problems with the movies are decisions, stupid, dumb decisions that were behind the scenes. Made behind the scenes. Everything else is okay for the most part on screen was okay. It was dumb decisions that they made behind the scenes. Well, if you don't want to hear the rest of this video, turn the rest of this music, turn the video off right now. I'm about to watch my several ver- I'm about to watch Dragon Ball Evolution again after ranting on it. So with that being said, I'm finished. Turn the video off now if you don't want to hear the rest of the music.